It really sucks, guys. Absolutely Wagyu. This is the most marbled of all. A skewer of that costs 10,000. It's euros. A skewer of Wagyu. Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. You're tuned into an episode of the series Lost in Tokyo. Make sure if you missed the others to catch up. There's a playlist. On the Super Demi 1 channel, there's a place that even opens at 5 in the morning. And it's a market, the main market in Tokyo. The market is called Tsukiji Outer Market. It's the Tsukiji market, the Tsukiji area. So the goal for today is Tsukiji market, to have breakfast, maybe eating some super fresh fish, even though in the morning it's a bit meh. But these are experiences worth having. We survived the deadly crowd of people during rush hour, when everyone is heading to work in the offices. The so-called salaries, guys, when it comes to getting lost in the cities. Look at this amazing temple. I found this totally by chance. It wasn't planned, but this is a Buddhist temple. And there's also a statue of a huge samurai. Let's take a quick jump into the flight, really fast. And let's take a moment to see the architecture more than anything, what's inside. Inside, of course, no photos are allowed. And of course, we're filming. And guys, we've arrived at the fish market, at least the outer part. Of course, the prices here are a bit higher because it's a tourist area. But look, it's for the freshness, all fresh fish caught that day. Arriving here every morning at 4 a.m. A lot of sweet things, mainly based on strawberries because, as I already told you, they have a fetish for strawberries. And they also cost a lot, by the way. This set of white strawberries and mochi costs about 14 euros, 15 euros. Beautiful, okay. But anyway, they are mochis, so it's glutinous rice. Practically pure gluten and strawberries. Look how beautiful they are. The packaging of these strawberry cookies. And these are the strawberries themselves, which, if you look closely, you can also find in certain supermarkets in Italy. But they cost much, much less. It must be said though that here they are super sought after and selected, and people are already eating in a place that has an impressive line. Basically, he cooks the fish on a grill and with some oxyacetylene torches, and he shouts in the meantime. This is swordfish. I think these guys, I don't want to say anything stupid, but these are sea urchins. Look at them in the packaging. And a pack like this of sea urchins costs about 30 euros. There are many places. Look how beautiful this one is that makes things out of wood. And they're still closed. They'll probably open around 11 in the morning. Later, we'll come and explore this whole area here. Here they have king crab, guys, the king crab soup. And also ready-made sushi. Look at the color of this tuna. It's really out of this world. And this is the king crab. Maybe I'll try it later because I've never eaten it in my life. I mean, I've practically tried all the crustaceans except for the king crab. There are already long lines. I imagine they make things like takoyaki, such as delicious and popular Japanese street food, and other delightful and savory treats. Definitely takoyaki. They even have different levels of tuna. All this kit you see with different levels of fat in the tuna, because here they go by the fat content, costs 48. It will be about 30 euros. Here, I think I'm really gonna spend my entire paycheck. Also, when will you ever get the chance in life to eat fish that's just been caught? This morning at 5, it's 10 in the morning. It's not even 9 o'clock yet, directly in Japan. Right in Tokyo, from the main fish market. I just changed 100 euros. Guys, I have the feeling that theoretically this should be enough for me for the next 3 days. But I have a feeling they'll run out very quickly here. It's the same tuna that arrives at restaurants. Maybe we'll get to taste some things. But considering that it's the same tuna that arrives at the restaurants every day, maybe we'll go eat somewhere else because otherwise it really... I'll leave you the pens, thanks. Here they even have different types of Wagyu with different levels of marbling and fat content, from the lowest to the highest. The Wagyu is the most marbled of all. The Wagyu. This is the most marbled of all. A skewer of that costs 10,000 yen, which is 80 euros. A skewer of Wagyu. 10,000, that's 2 euros. A skewer of Wagyu. Spectacular. I tasted it. It's really spectacular. Thank you. Today we have these little shops Look how beautiful this one is. It's gorgeous, very stylish. Vases, teapots, tea for drinking matcha at Den Japan, because we are in Japan. These aren't your typical Chinese items. They come at a price, but say it's justified. They paid 4.50 euros for those 3 shrimp, which for Italy is reasonable, but in reality it's a lot. They also have tuna, bluefin, 3 pieces, which are about 6 euros or 7 euros. He's preparing the fattier one now. But they put a lot on top, really put a lot on top. It's not just a tiny piece. Look, these are 3 different types of fat. He takes the rice, makes a ball. He places his hand doing his technique, jiu-jitsu. Neat. One, two, 3 little pieces. Guys, I'm getting a huge hunger, but my poverty is stopping me from eating these insane delicacies. I guess I was meant to be born poor. If here already, example, 8 euros, 7 euros, already this big plate with various types of sushi and different tastings is more questionable. Even though they really have a ton of varieties, you can choose whatever you want. There's just an embarrassment of choices. In the meantime, I'm thinking about a piece of that king crab. There it's 30 euros, more or less. But it really inspires you a lot. Look at the amazing stuff they have. The oysters, they cook the scallops right in their juice over the flame in the shell. For those mochi there with strawberries. Those you see there, 6 pieces. The lady just paid 3.40 euros for them. A demonstration that this is a tourist trap, this chain. I saw it the other day and the prices were literally half. Clearly, but in a much less touristy spot in Tokyo. So, guys, they make these skewers of tuna, meat, and octopus, and they cost, the fish ones, it's practically 500. They're 3 euros. Something, the meat one costs 6 euros. That ends with the oxy flame to speed things up, to char them a bit and give them that burnt flavor. So are they really crazy about this here? Wagyu skewer, tuna that's already on, and an octopus. He's drizzling with soy sauce and now he's throwing it on to cook. All this stuff, in a nutshell, cost us about 14 euros. Good, it's already pre-boiled. It's a bit tough, but it's a bit cold. So in my opinion, it should have been cooked at least another 2-3 minutes. Let's move on to the tuna, which should be of medium to high quality. This is the skewer. Look at the color inside, absolutely spectacular and vibrant. There's a bit of char, a bit of smokiness. It's salty, but not too much. You can add soy sauce and wasabi, but I like it this way. Now the Wagyu, in medium to high bitterness. Let's see. Guys, I told you to understand what Wagyu tastes like. Take a rib steak, 4 cimitos or less, so about 4 fingers thick. Otherwise, it's just a small steak. You want one that's all marbled with fat. The more marbled, the better. You throw it on the grill and cook it well until the fat starts to melt. And then you eat all that pot, that little bit of fat that's dripping, that melts in your mouth. And that's the feeling of eating Wagyu. You can see the fat dripping. In a nutshell, meanwhile, guys, this place has filled up with students who probably just got out of school or are on their way somewhere. Now, I don't know, the market is really getting very crowded. So yes, if you want to try all the best things, you have to come. Now it's 11 o'clock, definitely around 8 to 9. Not much later, because otherwise you won't get to try or eat anything. 7 euros of delicious, super fresh tuna. Look at the thickness that's there. The salmon, this is the tuna tartare made from leftovers. Of course, there is also their typical omelette. It's a typical Japanese omelette, and this is the little soup with king crab. Guys, it's literally steaming. Let's start with the sushi. A little soy sauce, just a bit, and let's start with the omelette. It's an egg concentrate, a sweet little omelette, but you wouldn't expect it to be sweet. We're on to the second dish, which is this tuna tartare made with scraps from the tuna and chives. Let's see. Delicious, soft, creamy, that melts in your mouth. Spectacular. I would say it's time for our salmon. Guys, the sushi, they're not small. Look at the big piece of salmon they put on top. It's no small thing. Good. I was expecting a more flavorful salmon, to be honest. But it's all right, it's not bad. Medium level of salmon, like top quality Ukrainian in Italy. Final big piece of tuna maguro. Look how huge it is. I also added a little bit of wasabi, not much, and it has a... This is spectacular. Medium high level of tuna with a little bit of wasabi and soy sauce. It's spectacular. You can tell it's fresh. And now finally, we just have to taste our king crab. Look at it splashing around in its little soup. The soup itself is a miso soup. It doesn't taste much like shrimp. It tastes like corn. I don't know why. Not that miso, I mean corn. I'm ignorant on the subject. In that case, correct me in the comments, but it really tastes a lot like corn. I also saw earlier that there's a piece of tofu inside. By the way, I've never eaten tofu like this. It's pure gelatin, indefinite flavor. Maybe that's what gives it the corn-like flavor, something like this. Now it's time to dig in. Our king crab is still steaming. Good guys, the taste, in the end, it's a huge crab. Maybe in my opinion, he gives his best grilled. I think it shines its best when grilled, not in soup, but it's really delicious. Anyway, if you want something warm, it's spectacular. What can I say, guys? It's definitely a place worth visiting. Absolutely. I don't recommend eating here unless you want to, at least. Try something you can't eat at other places like king crab, which is hard to find. But I really advise against eating here in general because it's truly a tourist trap. I mean, everything costs double, if not triple, compared to other places. When you can just go to a sushi place on the 5th floor, like I did in the city center near Tokyo Station, and pay for it practically the same, but eating double the amount. And anyway, the fish was super fresh, just like this. So you see, draw your own conclusions. And now we move on to the next stop. No, guys, we don't have this. So, okay, place it like this, press it down well, and it doesn't reach us. Obviously, so let's bring the little booklet closer. We press it down really well, and voila, here it is. Guys, if you don't know what the molds are and why I'm filling out this little booklet, catch up on all the previous videos, starting with the one about Tokyo Tower. Well, since you're here, you might as well check them all out, because in the end, they're really cool. And that way, you'll know why I'm collecting all the molds or all the ink stamps in this little booklet here. Make sure to pay attention. This place sells everything matcha related, all the types of matcha that exist, possible and imaginable, as you can see. Above all, he makes something I want to try, which is matcha beer. Which I don't think is that great, but let's give it a try. And they also make matcha ice cream, of course white. Half matcha, half white matcha, and matcha tea that's a bit burnt. We need to change the color. Scorched matcha tea. We need to change color. They're putting the matcha in for me, and look at that spectacle. Oh! Thank you. Guys, it's a matcha beer cappuccino in a nutshell. Look at this. Actually, I could see that he basically took a regular beer. It's just a regular beer. And he added a bit of matcha to it and charged you for it. Paindo. On the other hand, that's how it works. Let's give it a try. It's like drinking a beer, actually. And drinking a beer that tastes like grass really sucks. Guys. The beer is already there. This one sucks. I don't know what beer he put in, but with matcha, it's even worse. It goes well with milk because milk is still creamy. If you make the froth and it's sweet and with the flavor of tea herbs, it goes really well. But the beer is really nonsense. Grab a beer. Let's soak some fresh grass just cut from the neighbors. That's the taste. Well, guys, after this traumatic experience with matcha beer, which I assure you is rubbish, if you want to try it though, don't complain if it's like pulling grass from a garden and putting it in your mouth. I'd say we can wrap up the video here. They are unique experiences. I'm happy to have done them. I don't know if I would do them again, especially the beer one, but when it comes to the fish market, it's definitely worth trying at least a little bit. That said, I thank you, I greet you, I recommend you I like, share, activate the bell, and always check the links in the description. Because there are useful and cool things that come directly to your home from Amazon. I say goodbye, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video of the Lost in Tokyo series. Hi.